Hi everyone. I am coming to you from my home in Hawaii, where I've been since last Sunday. I hope you'll excuse my appearance. I think, like many of you, I decided to let things go a little natural as far as my head and facial hair go. Call it quarantine chic. Anyway, I wanted to let you know that yesterday I tested positive for COVID-19, the disease caused by the coronavirus. So, first, the details. For the past several weeks, I was in New York shooting a role on a TV series where, ironically, I play a doctor who gets recruited to a hospital to help patients during a flu pandemic. Now, when the news of the virus hitting America started coming in, that show, like eventually all the others, stopped production. And when it did, the first thing I wanted to do was go back to Hawaii and to my family. Now, it's important for you guys to know that I was asymptomatic during all of this time. But as the flight was close to landing, I started noticing some scratchiness in my throat, which is unlike how I usually get sick. So when I landed, I called my family doctor in Hawaii, and he told me to monitor my symptoms. To be safe, when I got home, I quarantined myself in a room in the house and tried to rest on my own. But later that night, I started feeling tightness in my chest, body aches, and my temperature started to rise. So he then told me to get tested. So the next day, I went to a drive-through testing facility that had just opened here in Honolulu, and the test was given to me by some incredibly professional and kind caregivers. The test itself was really awkward and a little painful because they shove a huge swab into your nose and into your throat, but it was worth it because of what I found out. They told me that I would have my results back in 3 days, and that was Wednesday morning. And in the meantime, my doctor prescribed some medication, and I went straight home. I guess it's worth mentioning at this point that that was the only time I left my house since arriving back in Hawaii. I self-isolated the entire time, and even though I was with my family, I was in an entirely separate part of the house. That part is important for later. So, just so you guys know, I never went to a hospital. But with the help of the medication and bed rest and liquids and, of course, my loving family, I didn't need to. I actually started feeling better the day after, and I started feeling a little better the day after that. And today, even though I'm not 100%, I'm pretty close. So I was not asymptomatic, which is also an important thing to point out. A lot of younger people can carry the virus without having any symptoms whatsoever. That was not me. I was sick. I still am. But thankfully for me, it wasn't a matter of life and death. But even though I'm smiling and upbeat right now, for several days, I was in bed. So for all those out there, especially teenagers and millennials who think this is not serious, please know that it is. And if you treat this without care, you are potentially endangering the lives of millions of people, including your loved ones. So for the sake of everyone else, please follow the guidelines. Socially distance, self-isolate, stop touching your face, and of course, wash your hands. Now, I debated for a long time about actually publicly talking about my diagnosis because I've read some backlash against those who did, saying that they got special treatment. And though I risk that now, let me just say that I never asked for or expected special treatment from anyone. And I will add that I believe that healthcare for all is a right, not a privilege. And not just healthcare, but quality healthcare. Everyone who meets the qualifications to be tested should be, period. Because the virus doesn't care about race or gender, religion, sexual orientation, whether you're rich or poor, or your immigration status. Only we seem to care about that. I was fortunate, and I'm grateful. So speaking of grateful, I want to let you all know that my family all got tested because of my positive result. And I'm very relieved to report that they are all negative.